Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the T.O.A podcast. I am your host, Onvermel, and I'm joined here today by Zack-Ta. Zack-Ta, how you doing?
Oh, not bad at all there, my good purplish friend.
Hey, thank you. I'm doing fabulous. I'm doing great. I hope everyone else is having a fabulous day. I know I am. I've had at least a couple drinks, so we're ready. Whoopity pops.
Well, I wouldn't say fabulous, but it's certainly been a day.
Nah, I can't say my day was actually fabulous. It was just work, But all things considered, it's been good. So, Mr. Zack-Ta.
Yes, Mr. Purple Wolf.
I hear that's Onvermel to you in this
Sorry,
stream.
Onvermel.
I mean, purple if it's acceptable,
Purple is on my head, so that just came out.
actually hair's on your head, and that's not purple. But choo-choos,
Choo-choos.
choo-choo trains,
Choo-choo trains.
chugga-chugga choo-choos. You know the things that go on the tracks that keep you up at night, that wake you up in the middle of the day, that you run from? They could probably murder you in a split second. Those things.
I know the things I think about occasionally going to bed, but I don't know what the rest of you are talking about is.
Yeah, all of them apply to choo-choo trains, particularly the ones that go puff-puff choo-choo trains.
Good
Not
old
boom, boom.
steam locomotives.
Yes, the steamers, the smokers, the pot smokers.
Now that is the sailing ship of the Zack-Ta universe.
Yeah. Actually, now they bring that up. That is kind of interesting. That I would say the three of us all have a very distinctive kind of vehicle or mode of transportation that I would say is mostly associated with our universes.
Really?
Well, you have the Chugga Chugga Choo Choos.
Yes, I got that.
X got the big old boats.
Yeah, and I understand that, but what's yours?
Mechs. I got the mechs. Technically, they are a mode of transportation of some kind. Not in the same way, but they are vehicles that get you from place A to place B.
And they are definitely something I would say is distinct to your verse. I mean, you can find them in X, and not really mine.
Well, the thing is,
but
like,
they're distinct to yours.
It's like we've all kind of dabbled in each other, but probably pretty little. But like for the most part, it's like, you're noticeably better at building steam locomotives than any of us are. I'm noticeably better at building mechs than the rest of you are, and he's noticeably better at building sailing ships than the rest are. While you got like something like spaceships, where we're all we're all quite good, or we got bombs because we're all good, and there's no like distinctive top dog beast boy on top of everyone else. Oh geez, hiccups a little bit on the blues.
Yes, you
fabulous.
would be correct there.
It's fabulous. Now the real question comes down to it is, Lego has made plenty of steam choo-choo locomotives on the track wax. Now which one is the best of them homies?
I mean, without having all the sets, I would have to say the Emerald Knight.
Yeah, it's not much of a competition, but
that comes down to some simple facts of they've got a lot of trains under their belts. For the most part, diesel locomotives.
Even the steam.
But they have a few steams, but they came in much older sets, and even the more recent ones, which our dad had a version of, didn't have any of the working pistons and was still very rudimentary and built. Like, you look at it now, you'd probably say, like, yeah, that's brick on brick.
But man, though, that brick on brick charm.
Oh, I know. I still want that set.
What I really liked about those steam locomotives was that you had the large version and the small version, but both of them have a tender and non-tender.
No, there was a
design.
Large. Oh,
well,
yeah.
Large,
sorry. Yes, yeah.
Small.
I was thinking there was 4 versions, but I see what you're saying. Yeah, there's two
versions,
different versions,
but 4 different models.
Yes. And the thing is, if I got one, I would have to get 4 because I couldn't decide which one to do. Though, if I were to get the one our dad has, is the larger of the 2 models, I probably would be inclined to modify it to have a proper wheelbase, not just the.
I would love to see basically just that set design basically added to having
to look a little more quote unquote,
but kind of keep the rest of it. Oh, that'd actually be really, really cool.
I think obviously if you were to go with the large with the tank engine version, just 6 wheels like a Thomas, the tank engine. But if you keep it with the tender, you could go like 4 and 4, 3 and 4, just a solid 3. There's a lot of different ways you could play with that one.
Also, there's the fact that you had like essentially 2 different sides you can go for, which each one has 2 different variations. And then there was like 6 colors you could choose from: brown, gray, black, green, blue.
White? No,
No,
that
there
was
was a
great.
slight. There was
Yeah, I
like
think there was just those
5.
colors.
It's weird that there was no red option.
There may not have actually been red engines in actuality, or at least not a bright red.
Harry Potter. Look, Harry Potter showed me the truth. There are red choo-choos on the train,
I
on the
think
track.
I think I would go with like an Edward style engine wheelbase. The reason being, the actual engine with a tender had the tender and then a set of 2 pairs and another 2 pairs.
Which is the same.
So
basic
this way
amount of
the
wheels.
wheel number would stay the same, unless of course you went with like a James wheelbase. James, but I feel like that wouldn't work as well.
See, I'm just sad that Lego hasn't made more. Not just even just trains, not even just steam like engines, but just more train sets. Period in the last while, because like the most recent train set I think they made, the house had a steam engine, was the Disney station.
Yeah, and like the one before that was probably a Christmas train.
For the everywhere steam. Even like when it comes down to like diesels, I can't remember the last one they made.
They made a couple. Bear in mind, I would say that's one of the areas of Lego that we are the most least up on.
That after Technic.
But I do remember seeing like Lego trains in stores when I still went into a store. But that's still
there was always that
years.
one train set that was on the shelf that Lego sold.
But like
one
even
diesel
the most recent train set I would say would be more of like I would say a city tram than an actual train.
I mean, probably, but it's
I'm just going from what I can remember here.
It's kind of just weird to think about how many like train sets they had back in the day.
See, I was actually thinking about this the other day. I'm kind of surprised Lego doesn't make more like
Don't be surprised, it'll hurt your brain.
Specifically like steam locomotives, given the kind of like how you have Star Wars fans, they're a good number of train fans out there, people who just like trains, and I don't quote me on this, and this I have no
I'm getting
science,
my pen down and I'm ready to quote to you tomorrow.
I have
on this.
no science to back this up, but I've always had the impression that train people like steam engines more than diesels. I could be wrong, but as a personal train enthusiast, I miss living by the tracks. I love seeing the old CP rail trains go by. But I always liked good old steam powered locomotives.
It is hard to say. I mean, let's be honest. A steam engine has more going on a physical model because you have moving pistons. You can also maybe add a steam puffing thing. There's more to it. There's more stuff going on, which is I think more eye catching, and the sound of something chugging is just cooler than.
Yeah, I think it would actually be fun, and I actually thought about doing
the tracks until a train comes.
I actually thought about doing this about the ghost train I made. Is installing a light in the boiler, which would make the fire light up. Sure, it'd be nearly pointless, and you'd have to be at the right angle to see it. But the concept.
But you'd know it would be there.
There's a burning flame inside its firebox.
Some of the light up bricks are actually pretty powerful, though.
Well, don't think about it, but like it's in the boiler that you can only see from within the cab, so you'd have to hold it up basically like kind of looking behind it. So it wouldn't really.
Oh, you mean that way? I thought you were talking about because of the ghost train to basically shine it, so like all the interior of the skeletal part you'd see.
That would. I did also think of that more specifically, but I'm still thinking like a light up just to make the firebox light up.
I kind of feel like there's a train set that does that, but there
It
probably
would
isn't.
have to be.
It feels like something that feels. I mean, it's possible.
Actually,
I doubt it.
I kind of almost feel like the Emerald Knight does have a light.
I think I'm thinking of a different set where it has like a stoked fire or something else that isn't a train, but
doesn't like I almost want to say the blacksmith shop has it.
It does. It has basically one
that
on the.
That could be it.
Oh gosh, Hat. There we go. Did my thing. Sorry, I saw pieces that weren't attached properly and I had to fix it.
That's the worst. We look at a picture of something, you're like,
all those old pictures.
Doesn't matter how old it is, you miss it in.
Speaking of old creations, I think one of my favorite things that we ever did was use those old basic blockhead heads as engine faces to make our own Thomas the Tank Engine characters.
Well, given that they also, given the fact that they had a roundness to them and they had a face and they were the right size.
Some of them were black too.
And that's specifically the ones we used.
I think we did use the red ones too because of lack of options, but just using those
true.
as the face of engines is still I think one of my just favorite things that we did.
Honestly,
as a kid.
a part of me would have probably done it again, especially say on like my Peter Sam style engine because it would have flowed perfectly shape-wise for what I was after.
But it just wouldn't match the rest of the ones you built.
I was just going to say none of them have faces. And
Give me a Sharpie and I can fix that.
while a part of me kind of wants to give them faces, I'm glad they don't have
I can
faces.
graffiti them for you. They'd be very authentic trains if they have graffiti on them.
I was thinking, though, that based upon a video I was watching last night, that Lego really should make another steam engine like the Emerald Knight, but this one should be the Flying Scotsman. I'm like, I kind of actually surprised that they have not made a legit Flying Scotsman. It's a famous train that still exists today.
You know, thinking about it too, honestly, I just realized that in Lego Ideas, I've almost like the Ideas program, I've never seen a train reach the 10,000 mark.
Well, I guess now we know why trains aren't a big deal.
I don't know if the train enthusiasts don't care enough to have real sets because they're like, even a real set wouldn't be
very authentic.
do good on turns, and so they're like, no, we'll just design our own, or they don't care about they get a real set, or whatever reason the train and Lego enthusiasts just don't go on. I don't know. I was like,
maybe the
like,
train full-on train enthusiasts don't really mesh with Lego enthusiasts. Maybe there's actually a divide here.
There's decent size. Even our local Lego group, user group, broke off into two groups because the train group basically wanted to do things that they really broke off from it.
There is a big, but that's just it. There's a big Lego train fan base. You think there?
That's weird that Ideas have never had a. I don't know if Ideas just like train fans just don't go to Ideas. I don't know. I'm gonna have to look this up later because I've seen like a lot of things like it, and the most common stuff typically are like more artsy. Or castle-related stuff.
I've been thinking if I had the parts, and I might have to go out and acquire the parts, I should make myself a Flying Scotsman. I could, always put that out on there. Like, this is a niche that needs to be filled.
You know what? Honestly, if they made a Lego Ideas steam locomotive, I would have a hard time not wanting that one to be. Because, like, don't get me wrong, I may not be as large of a stranger. I have more of a mild interest in steam choo-choos, and I like how they look, but to be honest, my Thomas the Tank Engine childhood nostalgia is very strong with this.
Would have to agree in that regard, but like I just probably this is what birthed it, but I have a much stronger love of steam trains, and I'm still kicking myself for never getting
look at
the
this way.
Emerald
They've
Knight.
had the Exosuit, which was for me. They've had the Barracuda Bay. They had a boat for Gerard. Now they need a train for now they need a choo-choo for you. Choo-choo
They
for
made
you.
an Exos. Oh yeah, right.
Yeah,
the Exosuit.
Yeah, so they've had a mech for me. They've had a boat for Ek. Now they need a choo-choo for you.
I am feeling a little left out, and I never even got a chance to get that. Like, what was it, the 40th anniversary of something that was a little Lego train?
I think it was like an 80th anniversary or something.
It was an odd anniversary.
It was an anniversary of Lego trains.
90th anniversary, I think. I think it was just the 90th anniversary of Lego.
I don't know. It was an anniversary, maybe 75th. You know what? I need to figure this out. I'm going to the internet.
You need to know.
I am going to the internet.
The internet.
Lego anniversary
so, a little
train.
Side tangent while we look into this. If it's called the internet,
40th anniversary set. So
why is the symbol an E?
What's an E?
It's the internet with an I. So why is the symbol an E?
That's Explorer, is why.
You just shattered my life.
I have shattered. 40 years of what? Lego trains? I'm assuming 40th anniversary of Lego trains. It must be, which is why it's designed on some of those older ones.
Still, I wanted to get... It's clunky, it's blocky, but it does have a nice little charm because it's a steam engine.
True. I mean, I always told myself that if I ever had a lot of money and I had you as our Christmas draw, I'd get you the Emerald Knight. But I think it's too expensive now.
And I mean,
what's it like? Almost closing on $1,000 or something silly like that.
That was $130 when it came out. When I finally got the money to get it, I contacted my aunt who lived in our aunt who lived in Calgary to see if she could go to the Lego store and pick it up for me.
Couldn't find it.
It was waited too long.
You admit it just by a little bit. I think we've had that with sets a fair bit where we just miss them by like just a little.
Well,
too
our
much.
problem wasn't so much that we couldn't get the money, was we couldn't hold on to the money.
Yeah.
We had commitment issues when it came to us and money.
Like I say, it's like
there was too many things we wanted, and the smaller, cheaper stuff we could get quicker.
The bug to buy new Lego was stronger than the bug to that was stronger than the desire to own a big set.
Honestly, while we always had a list of sets we wanted to get, and we had a general order of what we'd get with certain amounts of money, we definitely had I just have money, I want to blow on Lego. I don't even care what's available. If we could not find what we specifically were after, we got something else because we could.
90% of the time, definitely. I think there was at least one time where I actually decided to try staying a bit longer for something, but I think it was when I was looking for a mobile defense tank from Next of Force. I think. I don't quote me on that, but so don't quote. I don't really remember.
I only quote movies, and you, my friend, are not a movie.
I could be a movie. I could be in a movie. Perhaps someday I will be in a movie. Or maybe there'll be a movie about me because I'll be famous. And they'll be like, this man's life needed to be told. You'll have to, get someone who can basically portray a couch potato.
The only reason they'd make this movie is you became so famous over your love of purple
That
it
my
became
like the
world
grandchild of mine was just like, I love my grandpa and I'm rich. I'm making a movie
We
about
have
him.
never met a purple who has idolized purple. We never met a person who's idolized purple so much.
Yes, I've been referred to as a purple. My life is
I don't
complete.
think I said purple.
No,
but
you,
I definitely didn't say
you
person.
totally said purple.
I know I didn't say person.
Look, on this record, I can look back at this later and prove that said we never met a purple. I think they made an amalgamation of purple and person, but
Yeah,
totally,
I didn't say purple. You're a purple. You're a
purple. That's purple.
No, a purple.
A purple.
Yeah, it's
Look,
purple.
it's not purple. It's purple. Oh, you can.
It's like a purple.
A purple.
Yeah, I know. Like a Coach Z would say a
The
people.
purple. The purple. The purple.
The purple.
The purple.
Yeah.
The porpoise. I feel like a
purpose.
porpoise sometimes after eating a few bit of food.
Just don't be a porpoise with a purpose.
Okay. Also,
So
trains. Chugga chugga choo choo. 2 chuggas before the choo choo, or do you sometimes have more chuggas before the choo choo, depending if you're building up.
chugga chugga choo choo. Yeah, you could go anyway.
I was saying too, like
it goes in pairs.
I told my cousin like this, like you can do chugga chugga choo choo normally, unless you're building up to a dramatic choo choo. Then you have several chugga chuggas.
Yeah, the more chugga chuggas, the bigger the choo choo.
Exactly. Hookoo choo choo badoo. Choo choo.
No.
Makes me think something. See, I've only built like really one train in the last like gosh, who knows how many years.
It's a song about a girl, something like that. Is that what you're thinking?
I think that's what I'm thinking of, but
Yeah, I mean that's what you made me start thinking of, so that's what
something
I'm thinking
like that. See, the only train I have is a purple night bus train, which is not even compatible with track. It uses tire wheels because it's crazy. Well, hey, where that train's going, they don't need tracks. It doesn't need to stay on track.
No, it doesn't.
I just need to get like 3. I really need to make 3 coaches for it instead of just 2. I always get 2, but it's a night bus train, so it should have 3 coaches.
Yeah.
3 layers, 3 coaches.
Well, I'll say this: if you don't feel like spending $1,000 on me for Emerald Knight, which you could probably get most of the parts for far less than that, because let's be honest, minifigs aren't required, and
true. It's probably also the stickers to it though, because that adds so much like level of detail that's not technically there, but a lot of trains didn't have.
I still like my elastic band idea. I just would have to get the elastic bands. But like, just some generic engine parts that might work for say like.
Okay, I'll find a scrapyard. I'll find the rustiest engine parts, and I'll roll it into the house. And be like, here, Joseph, I got you a genuine choo-choo wheel.
I think that's a coal car, my friend.
Well, it was looking at me. It was looking a little sus, and so that coal car, like he deserves it. You can beat him all you want with your car. You can pull him around with your car. You can be like your trailer. That makes sense, right?
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
Also, Bionicle. There, the obligatory Bionicle statement was said.
Yeah, Bionicle.
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 Bionicle. Bionicle.
Don't Bionicle me like that.
No, don't Bionicle that.
Don't Bionicle that.
Bonkle?
Bonkle.
Bunkle. Bungalow.
Bionicle.
Babushka.
Bushka.
Bingus.
Bingus.
Bingzack. Aha! Brought it back to Bionicle. Speaking of choo-choos, what I do want to do is actually technically though, if you look at the vehicle 13 on my Palomar shelf, that kind of looks like a train.
Yeah.
Just saying, I have one particular Palomar vehicle, which, first off, I'm very proud because it fits aesthetically the sets quite nicely, but it does have like a very steam-powered funnel look to it. Kind of even has like a cattle guard-esque view to the front. That's a really random side tangent. By the way, See, if I want to do something really stupid for a train, make an underwater train. Make an Aquazone train. An Aquazone steam
It's only
train.
stupid, yes, because it's only stupid if you make an Aquazone steam
Just, it's not
train.
steam, it's bubbles that come out of it, don't you know? It's like a bubble, because it's like a bubble pipe for us.
I mean, let's be honest, though. Underwater would certainly power steam if you can find a way to heat that water. You're not exactly going to run out of water.
Just hook a really long cord up to a volcano.
So, a volcano attached to a boiler on some wheels.
Yes, a volcano on wheels, exactly.
Alright. It's going to be pretty big.
I'm not sure that's the dumbest thing I've come up with in my brain. Something I'm never going to do, but one of the dumbest things I've still come up with. Just saying.
I've got the volcano under works. What's a few dozen train wheels?
Few dozen, 100 train. I mean, I have a volcano built over there. See?
I'd call that more of
a zit.
Yeah.
Big zit.
Well, I wouldn't call that a volcano. I'd just call
A
it
rock
more of
zit.
a seepage.
A seepage. I should now officially refer to volcanoes as planet zits. Earth zits.
Earth zits.
Or planet pimples. Ooh, I like that. Planet pimples.
You do like the puzz of that one.
Perfect. Pretty perfect. Purple.
There's one gripe I do have with Lego train sets. And this has been a gripe that's been with every passenger train I've seen.
Not enough coaches?
Not enough coaches. They could at least give you 2. I wanted the train to be longer than the engine.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised. Specifically with the Emerald Knight. You would think, like, you know, with the Harry Potter ones, okay, big budget.
It's Harry Potter. It's not the train raptor.
Okay,
it's the
fine.
feel.
But it's like something like the Emerald Knight, where it's supposed to be like a more realistic, more advanced train, that you think they'd give it like a second coach.
Honestly, when I saw the set in real life, I was actually disappointed how small the set as a whole felt. I'm like, that's $130. It feels smaller than other $130 sets at the time. But you know, you throw in another coach, add an extra $20 to that, I think you would have a splendid set. Like, that's honestly my biggest gripe with the Emerald Knight. Other than the smaller than I thought was...
I also still think that Harry Potter should have a coach expansion pack set for their last Chugga.
Honestly, Emerald Knight should have had an expansion pack.
That's the best thing about, again, those early 2000 trains were talking. 2001 was that you had basically the trains itself didn't have any V cars or anything, but there was individual sets that had like log cars, tanker cars, coach, caboose,
all their own individual set, and you could just basically buy as many as you want. I actually wonder how expensive each individual. I feel like
I think they're about $20.
I was gonna say I feel like all the cars were of the same price.
The caboose was cheaper, I think. There was like 2 of them that were cheaper, but like the coach, there was like a couple of them I think that were like 18 or 17. And then the other, like 2 of them were cheaper than the other 3, from what I remember.
I also want to say it would be the log car and the tanker car, but that's
I think the log car was on the cheaper end because either that or the do you remember the tan and blue one that has like that? The containers are kind of like this.
Yes.
I think that was one of the cheaper ones.
You know what? I think my life would actually feel complete if I just got a copy of all the freight cars.
Basically, just had like a complete.
Just
set
because
of
the
that.
coaches you'd have to get 2, but freight cars you'd get a good, like with the caboose,
4.
you could get 4. That's a perfect little train.
4.
Granted, I have nowhere to put that because I've already maximized my.
We
engine
find
space.
look. Space on shelves. Find a way.
Mind you,
Thank you, Jeff Goldblum.
it's a train.
You're welcome.
We could just put it on the
Worst
floor.
Jeff Goldblum impression ever. Thank you. I'll take all your guys' hate later.
We were so busy. You were so busy, focused on that you could that you never stopped to think if you should.
Yeah, my wallet. Look, I was so focused that I could buy it, where I should buy it, and my wallet says no, but my brain says yeah.
Oh, so me last month.
Yeah. I can't say I'm much better lately. I may have ratted on you a little bit, but I spent like several $100s on the Dragon Fortress, and then
You're talking to the guy who spent $1,300 in one go.
But then I also just on a whim essentially bought some stuff on Kijiji.
That's $50.
That was after I spent a fair bit of money on a tattoo and bought some comics.
You were planning the tattoo.
Yeah,
But
the thing
you
is,
didn't do
the
this
thing is,
all
I
at
shouldn't have done
once.
the Dragon Fortress doing at the same time my tattoo was happening was a silly part.
No,
The
no.
tattoo was like, this is a birthday gift to me.
Well, the Dragon Fortress you can blame our brother for.
I'm blaming you also for. I'm
I mean,
100% blaming you on
I was
that.
also gonna say I'm the
You
reason.
you tasked me. You tasked me.
Well, if you don't want me to get it first, this was the price you were gonna have to pay.
He's dead. We're killing him now. Yeah, I wasn't gonna let you beat me to that first off.
Hey, look, because of this,
I'd go
you
broke
got it for
first.
basically the best deal you could get it
Well,
for.
Eck also kind of helped a little bit on that
Hence,
one.
you got it for the best deal
Sure.
you could get it for.
I gotta give a shout out to that Eck. He's Don't let me sit here and say this, but he's actually a pretty decent guy, and everybody around him should consider him a really good friend. Because I might be, I'm a murderer later. I don't know how far.
But he
away,
doesn't
cool.
accept many friend requests.
Well, friend requests. Yeah, no, of course not. No, of course not. He's cold-hearted pirate, right?
Well, you got the pirate right.
Cold-hearted space pirate.
You got the pirate right.
Black-Run space pirate.
You've got the pirate right.
Yeah, that's true.
And the black.
Dude, the amount of times that man finds coins on the street is hilarious.
There's so many times I
Okay,
found coins
the
at
5
work.
years that we lived with each other, the amount of times he found coins compared to me was like 95% rate.
I had a good coin finding spree a few years back, but that was just because I was going for walks like almost every day and kind of changing my route up. And
Now, if you found
I found a few dollars.
if you found a penny on the
In one
tracks,
spot.
you saved a train.
Paul, I'm pretty sure I put the penny on the tracks.
Oh dear, you killed a train.
I wanted to flatten the penny the old-fashioned way.
But all I gotta say is, actually, surprising enough, my favorite train set, despite liking steam locomotives more than diesel, my favorite one is actually a diesel locomotive that came out in 2004.
I mean, there
It
was
was
a nice gray and an even
ACS.
orange one that was displayed in some of the earlier catalogs we
The
had our
dark green
hands
and
on.
orange.
And I have to say, those ones certainly are prominent in the memory. Like, I'm pretty sure the gray one came with like a coach or two, or the
The
coaches.
Santa Fe.
Yeah, and or those ones you could actually get coaches
The
separately.
Santa Fe was, you go out coaches separately, but there's also 5 variations of the coaches you could get.
Right, probably like dinner coaches and
Cargo coach, sleeping coach. Yeah, no, the Santa Fe ones are really good, but I think that one dark green orange one was still my favorite. But that's just because the steam engines are either old and aren't as detailed, or they've all been based on American stereotypical like Western steam locomotives, which I don't prefer as much as British styles.
British styles are better.
Suck it, US.
Especially if it's not like the most modern versions, but I think
I
the Emerald
apologize
Knight
to all the people in
is
the
British,
US.
though.
The Emerald Knight, yeah, no, that's definitely a British style.
Which is
engine.
probably why I love that one so much. Though it does bother, I really do wish Lego would make another train where you could buy all the cars separately, because I'm pretty sure it was all online when that.
Yeah, those were all online.
But I wish they would do it now, because I finally have the money. Because like in the past, if I had the money, I'd be like, I could get this one, or that one, or maybe if I was lucky at the right time of year, 2 of them.
What this coming down to Lego is Zack-Ta, he's wanting to give you your money if you give him good stuff.
Lego, I'm willing
Lego
to give you money if you give me the stuff I want, which is trains.
is not enough of it.
Get me.
Also in trains, a missed opportunity was the flexible track. Because it's flexible track, that's cool, but they should have been able to design it is to be able to basically be able to make a bigger curve.
I would have just rather than like even like the track that the little short flexible pieces. I think making them clicky, like a click hinge, so they would like you could make a bigger curve that would hold. Because right now you could pick it up and just flap it around like a dogtail. But if it had like say three settings, straight,
Like Dr. How PG.
straight, tight curve, and then looser curve.
Don't you ever flap your track around me.
I mean, I'm sure there's reasons they made it the way they did, but I'm like, I don't know. I think I would have been happy if Lego just had like 2 different sizes of curves.
You
Granted.
and every other Lego train enthusiast.
Of course, when you don't actually have a big donut on your floor, it really doesn't matter.
Why would you have a donut on your floor? I eat every donut before it even reaches the floor. 5-second rules don't
This
count.
is why we don't get donuts.
This is why donuts don't reach it to the house. I eat them way before they get to the house. Just saying. But we have reached the 30-minute mark, so this has been the T.O.A podcast. I have been your host, Onvermel. This has been a talk about trains. We stayed kind of on track. We had a lot of derailments, tar pits and everything, and we are retiring from the night.